This topic will cover the Spirent TestCenter Automation Overview. In the Spirent TestCenter Automation Overview topic, we will discuss the key concepts and elements of the Spirent TestCenter Automation API. You can configure and run your Spirent TestCenter hardware using either the Spirent TestCenter GUI application or scripts specifically written with the Spirent TestCenter API. Now, the GUI allows you to generate tests quickly and easily using wizard screens and GUI screens, while scripts allow a little bit more customization. And we'll take a look at some additional benefits of scripts on the next slide. Some of the Spirent TestCenter automation benefits include a common automation framework that covers all test and base packages. If you look at the right-hand side of the slide, you will see that the script has access to the test methodology packages, RFC 2544 and RFC 2889. It also has access to all of the base packages, L2, L3 PGAs, unicast routing, multicast, just to name a few. The GUI and the scripting interfaces were designed to be cohesive in nature. While everyone's situation is different, as a user of Spirent TestCenter Automation, you most likely will fall into one of the three automation categories: beginning automation user, intermediate automation user, or advanced automation user. As a beginning automation user, you will possess limited programming and/or test automation skills. Maybe you are very proficient at using the GUI, and you will benefit from the GUI to script option. This will allow you to take the tests you've created in the GUI and very quickly and easily create scripts that you can run at a later time. As an intermediate automation user, you're going to possess some automation experience, including basic TCL skills. In this case, you will need to know enough about the Spirent TestCenter API in order to customize a pre-existing script that contains test attributes and results. Maybe someone created a script for you, or maybe you used the GUI to script option to create it, but now you want to go in and modify some things. You understand programming, however, it's not something that you do every single day, and programming is a skill that you must practice. Advanced automation users typically have in-house scripting experts and utilize their own framework and script libraries. They have teams of people that are coding every day. They are creating their own framework for test structures. These users will need to know how to incorporate Spirent TestCenter automation into their own framework and libraries. As mentioned earlier, the GUI to script option is designed to bring Spirent TestCenter automation to non-programming environments. You can configure the tests within the Spirent TestCenter GUI, and then with the click of a button generate two scripts that contain all the necessary information. We'll talk about what those scripts are in a second. Really what's important, it's not so much important that there's two scripts, it's important that the GUI is going to generate the TCL scripts for you automatically. And then the user can easily execute this automated TCL test from a standard TCL shell. In this slide, we've enlarged the File menu item within the Spirent TestCenter GUI. We've already configured a test. We select File and then Save as Script. Once you perform that action, there will be a couple other steps that you will have to perform, but the final output will be two TCL scripts. Now in this slide, we're just demonstrating to you, I take the scripts, as long as I have access to them within my path, I am just going to start them. Here they are, TCL, SH, and then sample underscore GUI2 script.tcl. Now this is what's called the launcher script, and like I said, there were two, and really at this point it is not important whether there's one or two. That's really internal structure. The main thing is, with this one simple command, you are going to go in and start and run this automated test that was created from the GUI test that you created just a few minutes ago. No programming experience necessary. To recap, the GUI to script benefits: ease of use. Create it in the GUI, set it and forget it. Automation skills not required. Reduce time for writing a test case. You're going to go into the GUI, you press the button, it generates the script. Now you can rerun those. Minimizing errors in writing test scripts manually. Those of you who have performed any programming know that one little character, one little extra comma, open paren, uppercase or lowercase character can mean that the script is not going to work. In this case, you are exposed to absolutely none of that. Now we will take a look at the Spirent TestCenter Automation Application Program Interface, or API. The API will allow scripts created using TCL to configure and control the Spirent TestCenter. It also provides access to a complete data model that aids in Spirent TestCenter script creation. TCL, in its bare form or generic TCL shell or wish shell, you'll see that it has built-in commands within the interpreter, such as set, unset, a putS, if command. There's hundreds of them. Now, when you read in the API within the script, you are going to have access to a whole new subset of functions and commands that are written specifically for the Spirent TestCenter. For example, you'll see STC perform or STC create. Now, we're not going to really get into what those commands do, what the functions are, what they're going to perform. Right now, all you need to know is that you're going to have access to this complete new set of TCL commands that you will write within the TCL script. Now, I mentioned the data model. What the data model is basically everything within the Spirent TestCenter Automation API is an object. In other words, you have a system object, you have a project object, there's going to be stream blocks within those projects, you'll have ports within the projects, there's results. Everything is an object. Now, these objects will have attributes, and you will configure those attributes. Now, there are default parameters basically associated with those objects, and you can change those. What does this all mean? It means that when you are going to create your script, you can set up the environment very quickly and easily based on this data model. In order to help you with the development of the test scripts, the Spirent TestCenter Automation API provides online help that you can use to obtain more information on the API syntax. The Stc Help command, help is used to retrieve the syntax of the given object or command from a Tickle shell. If you type in Stc Help commands, it will display all of the help commands that are available to you. You could then further display additional information about the syntax of that command. There are several Spirent TestCenter Automation API documents that you can use to aid you in script development. The overview manual will present the overall picture of the Spirent TestCenter Automation API. The Spirent TestCenter Automation Programmer's Guide contains a little bit more detail about the API and how to set up and develop scripts. Finally, the Spirent TestCenter Automation Object Reference Manual will provide detailed information about each object that you can set and configure within the Spirent TestCenter Automation API. This document, as well as the other ones, are PDF documents. As such, you can select bookmarks, or you can click on the bookmarks located on the left side of the screen, and it will automatically launch that page onto the right side of the screen. Then by clicking the link, you can go directly to that topic of discussion. You can download all of the automation documentation in one install from the support.spirent.com website. Remember, you must have an account and login to access this information. It is free of charge if you have a valid contract with Spirent. Log into this website, go to General Releases, Spirent Test Center, click on Documentation, and then click
the download button. Within Windows, after the documentation is installed on your PC, you can access the documentation through the Start, All Programs, Spirent Communications, Spirent TestCenter version number, and then Documentation. Also within Windows, when you install the Spirent TestCenter application, there are sample scripts that you can use to help you with your scripting environment. The Spirent TestCenter Automation API will run on Windows, Unix, and Linux platforms. Please refer to the Spirent TestCenter software and hardware release notes for more details.
Spirent TestCenter Extreme Automation is a term that describes a group of automation tools that you can use to bring the power of automation to your fingertips. Now, we've described the GUI to script feature already, how it can take a GUI configuration and quickly and easily produce a script with absolutely no programming skills required. Now, the other terms, command sequencer and results reporter, are elements that you can use to have in your automation tool bag to help you automate your Spirent TestCenter test. The command sequencer is a Spirent TestCenter GUI tool that allows you to create complex command sequences. With a click of a couple of buttons, you can create these sequences that include starting the analyzer, stopping the analyzer, starting capture, items such as that. It allows you to quickly and easily create loops. For example, increase the test load by 10% on each test iteration. Once again, you're using a pull-down menu to create this structure. It allows you to create the associated API syntax using the GUI to script feature. Once you've quickly and easily created this complex sequence of commands, now all you need to do is click the button and those commands become TCL script. The last Spirent Extreme Automation element is the Results Reporter. The Spirent TestCenter Results Reporter is a reporting tool used to analyze and display data generated by either a Spirent TestCenter GUI test or a Spirent TestCenter Automation API test. The Results Reporter runs on the Windows platform. Spirent TestCenter will store results, being statistics, configurations, views, generated both during and after a test. Now, all these results are saved in a SQL-like database, basically an SQL database format. And then the Spirent TestCenter Results Reporter can open, display, and analyze any number of SQL-like databases. This allows you to open results from multiple test runs and view them all simultaneously. When you want to display results with the Spirent TestCenter Results Reporter, you will first have to launch the reporter either via the Start menu of Windows or from the shortcut menu located on your desktop. You will then select File, Open, and then Result Database, and then you will select the database file or the SQL file that contains the results you wish to view. Once that is selected, you will notice that the information is displayed within the window, as displayed within the bottom portion of the slide. Remember, this is an SQL database, which is much more powerful than a standard CSV file. Remember, one of the keys to the Spirent TestCenter Results Reporter is that it will display results that were generated from a GUI test or from the script test using the Automation API. That's one of the strong points of the Results Reporter. This concludes the topic discussion.